And now, Newsline 9 continues with Angela Buckaloo and Brady Bruce.
More developments in the Murrah bombing case. We now know exactly where in Denver the trial will take place. And a police officer is the victim of a pipe bombing in Porter, Oklahoma. Luckily, he wasn't in his car at the time. And more of an inconvenience and a scare for some American Eagle passengers in Tulsa. Wait till you hear this story. We'll have that story and much, much more coming up. But first, a check of our weather with Paul Bouchereau, who's sitting in for Brady Bruce this morning.
Is that one of those prop planes?
It's one of the prop planes, but it's not what you think. It has more to do with smells than anything else.
Oh. Well, it couldn't have been icing. That's what everybody's so worried about those airplanes. And we definitely know it's not icing, though.
No. And it wasn't children either.
It wasn't children?
No, it wasn't children.
Okay. Maybe it was the dry weather.
Have we teased you enough?
Yes. Everybody's on, okay, will you please show it? Throw the weather out. Let's show what we have going on the weather for today. It's going to be a sunny day, and if you like the delightful temperatures, we will have a bunch of those. The winds will also be up 20 to 40 miles per hour from the south. In a way, that is good news because that may draw in some moisture back into the state. But right now, we will be extremely dry, not only today and again for tomorrow. There are your numbers for today. 75 down at Alta, and 70s across virtually all of the state except for the northeast. Tulsa, Miami, as well as Ponca City should stay into the upper 60s. 70 down at McAllister, 72 at Ardmore, and 75 if you headed way out there in the Panhandle. But you know, today is election day, and there's really, you know, we do have some nice weather considering we'd need the rain, but there's no reason why not to head on out to the polls.
That's right. Open at 7 o'clock this morning. Close at 7 o'clock tonight.
Sometime you can get in there.
Thank you, Paul. Now to news this morning. Some specifics in the downtown bombing trial came to light. The date, of course, still undecided, but we do know which downtown Denver courtroom will host the trial. It will be held in the Byron Rogers Federal Building. That's the newer court building, room C204, on the end of the second floor. The courtroom seats about 130 people. The location was chosen to minimize disruptions to other court business. It is, of course, doubtful those 130 seats will accommodate everyone who wants to attend the trial, so efforts to get a closed-circuit television cast of the trial are gaining momentum. Senator Don Nichols is pushing to pass a bill that would change the rules on limited television coverage. Now, meanwhile, Attorney General Janet Reno has asked for $500,000 from the Office for Victims of Crime. The money would be used to pay travel costs for survivors and victims' families going to Denver for the trial. More than 200 pages of documents in the bombing case previously sealed were unsealed Monday at the request of Newsline 9 and other news organizations. The documents include information subpoenaed by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols' attorneys, mental health records for those injured in the blast, sales receipts on the album made after the bombing memorial, and other various bombing books also included in those unsealed documents. Also yesterday, Edie Smith, whose 2 little boys died in the federal daycare, asked the court to let the discovery on her lawsuit continue while the criminal case proceeds. Oklahoma City police Oklahoma police and federal investigators are investigating a pipe bombing this morning. A Porter police officer's car was the target. The car was parked near the officer's home about 15 feet from the front door. Then it went off. The blast damaged the car, but no one was injured. Investigators think the bomber was acting on a grudge against the city, not the officer. ATF agents have now joined in that investigation. And now checking in on our Capitol notebook, or rather, let me tell you real quickly about this Tulsa American Eagle flight. Here's that story. 49 people were evacuated from a plane after it made an emergency landing at Tulsa International Airport last night. And listen to this. The American Eagle charter flight was heading toward Springfield, Missouri when a stink bomb went off. Pilots had to wear oxygen masks to land the plane. Some adults on the plane had been playing with that stink bomb. The passengers had to wait inside the airport terminal for the plane to air out. And now, checking in on our Capitol notebook for the morning, Oklahoma state legislators are trying to limit the fundraising activities of incumbents. House members voted 100-1 to ban legislators from accepting contributions during the legislative session. The author of the bill, Wayne Cozart, doubts it will clear the Senate. A bill in the Senate killed last year is now resurfacing. House members approved a measure 95-2 to make English the official language of Oklahoma. And lawmakers say okay to a measure that will drop the legal age for exotic dancers. Right now, they have to be 21. Lawmakers say bar owners can hire underage entertainers, but they can't participate in striptease dancing. Former Governor David Walters is forming a company to independently develop power projects around the world. A report says that Walters has resigned as president of Smith Cogeneration International to establish Walters Power International. Walters says he won't compete directly on any of the same projects that he's worked on over the last year. He adds there will be 155 of these independent power companies worldwide, and it's a growing market internationally. The mayor of Altus says he would like to see the state stop tough guy contest. A senior at Altus High School died this weekend from head injuries he suffered while fighting. The 18-year-old had won one fight on Thursday and was involved in a second when he said he felt sick and stopped fighting. He left the ring and went to the dressing room where he stopped breathing. The Altus City Council will examine the contest more closely for any possible action, but officials say event sponsors and participants were following all the rules set up by the Boxing Commission for these fights. Malaysia students at the University of Oklahoma are raising money for one of their fellow students involved in a weekend car crash. The 5 students were on their way to Colorado for a ski trip when their car crossed the median and rolled. One student died, 2 others remain hospitalized. Money raised by the Malaysian Student Association will help pay medical expenses and the costs of shipping their friend's body home to Malaysia. Paul Bouchereau is coming up next. A look at our weather forecast, hopefully some rain in our 7-day, and a sneak peek of what's new on your TV guide for the spring. The second round of new shows hit the air. And a CBS star is making a move to the big screen, but only temporarily.
You're watching Newsline 9 with Angela Buckaloo and Brady Bruce with the weather.
Beautiful, exotic, tropical orchids are holding court at London's Royal Botanical Gardens. Although orchids can grow in Britain, they are extinct. These flowers are the victims of over-collection, pesticides and other chemicals, and they have lost their natural habitat. This collection contains 5,000 species used for research, education, and conservation. Botanists work to save endangered orchids by storing their seedlings and returning some to the wild. Nice to hear.
Interesting.
Now 6:10 on a Tuesday. Paul Bouchereau joins a look of our forecast for the rest of our work week.
There's a big orchid society here in town. They're always out at the fairgrounds, especially during the fair. So a lot of beautiful flowers, and those flowers need rain.
Yes, they do.
You like that one, didn't you?
Very good.
How was it going to get into dry weather from flowers? But it's going to be another dry day across all of the state. We're going to be seeing generally a clear sky, just some high clouds around, and those clouds do not bring us any rain. But wait until later on in the week in Oklahoma City. We have a breezy morning, 43 degrees. Those breezes are hitting us at 18 miles per hour from the southeast, humidity at 53%, and our pressure going down. Temperatures have been going down, especially in the southeast, kind of chilly down around Durant as well as Idabel, 38 degrees there, 40 over at Durant. And you compare it to Ardmore as well as McAllister, they're into the mid to upper 40s, 48 coming in at McAllister, to the north, 46 at both Tulsa and over at Miami, and over towards the west. Temperature's about the same, and this is usually what we see when our winds are kicked in throughout the afternoon and the evening hours. Kind of mixes us up pretty well, and pretty much where you see these kinds of temperatures, it's usually a local terrain type effect where you have some cool air generally draining into some lower areas. Now towards the west, you can see 32 degrees right now over at Guyman is the coldest in the state, and I think we'll be seeing those winds kick up later on this afternoon, and also the temperatures, especially out in the southwest. Now those winds will be hitting us at about 20 to 40 miles per hour from the south and sometimes southeast. Southeast is a good direction because if it comes from the southeast, that usually means there's a fetch or the winds coming across the Gulf of Mexico, coming through Texas on and into Oklahoma, and that would help raise our humidities just a little bit. But we're just going to have some high clouds around. That means a lot of sunshine, not only here, but also for the west and off to the east. Now, temperature-wise, it's going to be a delightful day. Temperatures well above where we should be. Should be into the lower 60s, and we'll probably be into the lower 70s across the state. The cooler readings should be into the northeast, and even those are very, very warm for this time of year. Upper 60s, 75 down at Altus. That's where I expect the warmest spot in Oklahoma. There's that nor'easter that's been playing havoc with the seashores of South Carolina and North Carolina, bringing lots of wind and high surf to those folks, and also some rain today from about New York City down towards the Columbia, South Carolina area. But that storm is moving well and off to the north and east, and behind it just dry all the way from basically the western Carolinas all the way over to Colorado on into Utah. It's going to be dry. Now there is some cloudiness with some light snow going on in Wisconsin as well as Michigan, but these clouds don't bring showing any rain. They're all high and mid-level clouds, but we do see southerly winds returning. In fact, you can see some of the clouds, these low clouds, out in the Gulf of Mexico, trying to make their way towards the coastal areas of Texas and Louisiana, and hopefully they'll continue that motion and make their way through Texas on into our state. Now towards the west, even though you don't see a lot of cloudiness, this storm system has a lot of energy. Notice these small clouds right here moving very quickly across California as well as Arizona. That indicates a strong jet stream and also a lot of energy. So we have good news and we have some bad news. So that's the good news, that the storm has energy and that it may be able to draw some of the moisture up through Texas. But for today, it's going to be a warm, windy day across much of the Mid-South. 75 down to Dallas, 66 up at Denver, 58, and a pretty nice day over at Kansas City. There's the storm system. It'll probably spread some rain and some snow across the western parts of Colorado, mainly in the mountains with the snow, but it has a lot of moisture once you get out towards Nevada as well as California. Whether it holds that moisture depends on how much of a southerly wind we'll continue with through Texas. So we have about a 20% chance for some showers and storms on Thursday. Otherwise, before that, it's just going to be a dry, windy couple of days to come. Here's the forecast for Oklahoma, and dry will be the word for today, tonight, and tomorrow. Sunshine today, quite windy, with south winds peaking over 40 miles per hour in some parts of the state. Everybody should be into the 70s except for the northeast. For tonight, clear skies, mild and breezy, with temperatures generally into the 40s and 50s. South winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we'll see another very sunny day, very windy with gusty winds from the south and temperatures near the 80-degree mark. So hot and dry for the next couple of days. Next chance of rain on Thursday. And right now it looks, a little better than 20%, but still we'll put that 20% in there.
Well, I guess we'll have to hope for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Now to news this morning and some entertainment news for you. It is spring cleaning time in Hollywood, the point in the TV season when the ratings losers are canceled, and the new shows called mid-season replacements debut. Last fall, 43 new series premiered with only a couple of hits. Now the networks are ready to try again.
On TV, most shows fail. You throw things at the wall and you hope something sticks. And that's what this March mid-season is all about. 17 new shows, and they hope that something works.
Among the new shows you'll be watching on CBS, a sitcom called Good Company about the life of advertising business people. And Nash Bridges, a police drama starring an old face, Don Johnson.
I've been playing cops for 20-some odd years, so I have a plethora of material and research to draw from.
Cops, aliens, and vampires, we're told, are the hot topics for the new mid-season shows. How pleasant. One hit CBS show isn't going anywhere. Sybil is a success this season, thanks in part to one of its stars. Christine Baranski plays Mary Ann, the best friend of star Sybil Shepherd. But she's also working a side job as a movie star. Baranski plays a health club owner in the hot new film The Birdcage with Robin Williams. Even if her movie career takes off, she promises to stick with her busy schedule and stay on Sybil. And Baranski says look for some changes in her character.
She's as soft as silk. I think she's a cream-filled center. I truly do. Keep watching. There's going to be some episodes where you're really going to see her vulnerability.
I really like that show. And you can watch Baranski on Sybil right here on TV9 Sunday at 7 o'clock. She's a hoot. Still to come this morning, news for your health. Some researchers say recovering from alcoholism is similar to recovering from cancer. We'll explain when we return.
Another dry, warm day across all of Oklahoma. Most folks will see temperatures in the 70s today, including Oklahoma City, with a high today of 72 degrees, low tonight of 50, and those winds will continue for the next 3 to 4 days.
Welcome back, everybody. It's now 6:20. Look, Ma, no cavities. The new dental health study shows that 55% of school-age children have no cavities in their permanent teeth. That number is up from 26% just 20 years ago. Doctors say fluoridated water, toothpaste, and a higher rate of dental visits and an improved diet are possible explanations. But the study also finds that tooth decay continues to affect millions of American children, mostly in their late teens. The report is in the March issue of the Journal of the American Dental Association. Alcoholics need to be dry for at least 5 years to be out of danger of an alcohol relapse. That's according to a new study. One area of the study shows that alcoholics who are poor and live in the inner city recovered at a higher rate than college-educated upper or middle-class people who are alcoholics. The study tracked the lives and drinking of alcohol abusers for 50 years. The good news is that a lot of alcoholics made stable recoveries, but the bad news is a lot of them die young from alcoholism. 40% achieved sobriety through Alcoholics Anonymous. A convict in California is getting out of prison today, not for good behavior, but to donate his kidney to his daughter. David Patterson has never played much of a part in the life of his 13-year-old daughter, Renata, after deserting her and her mother, then going to prison on a burglary charge. Renata had a transplant when she was 5, but her body eventually rejected it. Since then, she's been waiting 7 years for another perfect match and found one with her father. The 4-hour operation begins at noon today. Patterson will be under 24-hour guard at the hospital through his recovery. Paul Bouchereau joins us now with a look at our forecast, and we are still crossing our fingers, crossing our toes for rain.
Yeah. Well, we've ended up on a little good news there. Maybe we can have some good news on the 7-day.
Let's keep it going.
Actually, there is some good news. There's at least 2 slots that we could see of some rain, Thursday as well as Sunday. When we squeeze the other days in, you see it's going to be warm and windy, and especially today as well as tomorrow, we have all the ingredients once again. We're just tinderbox dry across our state, and any kind of spark will produce more wildfires. 72 today, 75 for Wednesday. We'll squeeze in 50 later on tonight for our morning low.
You know, it seems like this just came on sort of gradually, and all of a sudden now we're about 4 inches below normal for rainfall.
It's just incredible. We're supposed to get about 3 inches of rain just in March, and then again in April. So this is the time where we get our rain, and if we're already halfway into March, and we've had Zippo, so it's already here. It is bad.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Well, anyway, farmers who lost hay during grass fires several weeks ago received a helping hand. That's some good news. Farmers and ranchers in Missouri got together and donated 2,000 bales of hay to their friends in Creek County. A Missouri trucking firm even provided the transportation. And the farmers aren't the only ones who appreciate the gesture. Fire isn't the only symptom of Oklahoma's drought. Take a look at the crop figures. Cotton production in the state is hitting a 100-year low this season. Wheat production is in the worst in more than 20 years for the state. Sorghum production, the lowest since 1983, and the peanut crop hasn't been this bad since 1986. And cattle ranchers are struggling with a combination of low prices, dry grass pasture, and little winter wheat to graze. Bill Tegan's up next with our sports. We'll be right back.
And now, Newsline 9 Sports with Bill Tegans.
Hello, everybody. The times are set for the NCAA tournament games. You'll be able to see the NCAA tournament right here on TV9. It all begins on Thursday. Now, the Sooners and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane play Friday. Unfortunately, it's at the same time of the morning. Oklahoma and Temple at 11:25, Tulsa and Louisville at 11:30. The Sooners meet the Temple Owls, as we said, on Friday. OU went back to work yesterday to get ready for Temple, which once again has one of the toughest defensive teams in the country. The Sooners working out yesterday in the Lloyd Noble Center, getting ready for the ball game. Bobby Joe Evans is one of the guys looking forward to the challenge, and he talked about the matchups with that tough defense.
I heard some of the Temple players on TV last night. It was talking about how they're going to come out and try to dog us or whatever, because they want to get dogged. But I've been out here an hour and a half before practice, been lifting weights and everything, so I'm trying to get ready for them.
No hidden secrets out there today. This is the age of the VCR, and every game's on satellite, and most programs have satellites and able to tape games. So they have a lot of tapes on us. We have a lot of tapes on them. But, you know, you can throw that stuff out the window when we jump on that court at 12:30 on Friday, because kids have to step up and perform, and that's really what it comes down to.
Well, Tulsa has a tough road as well, opening against Louisville and Milwaukee on Friday morning. The Golden Hurricane headed to the NCAAs for the 3rd straight year. They've been to the Sweet 16 2 straight. It's a real challenge this year. Things have not been easy, but it's been a team effort all the way.
All the credit goes to those kids who've played hard, and they just worked their behinds off to do the things I've asked them to do. And they did some of the best playing at the end of the year during the tournament. And the results were we get a chance to go to Milwaukee and play Louisville in the NCAAs.
They're going to have to respect us. I mean, what we've done the last couple years is just is a testimony to this program. I mean, it's on the up and up, and we're playing real well. You know, Louisville, as I said before, is a great team. Got great players, great coach, and we're just going to have to come out and play.
St. John's basketball coach Brian Mahoney was fired yesterday. Among those mentioned as possible replacements, Tom Penders out of the University of Texas. OSU's Cowgirls are headed to the NCAA tournament. They take on Rhode Island Friday afternoon in Athens, Georgia. Cowgirls are seated 7th in the regional. And a couple of other notes in college baseball yesterday. OSU beat Iowa State 14-9, and the Cavs knocked off Florida 109-95 and pick up 6 standing points. That's a look at sports. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Will. We will. Right after this, more news, weather, and sports. Stay tuned.